Week 7 of our Organizational Leadership and Management of Aging Services course. This week's topics include emotional intelligence and building teams, building high-performing teams, and selecting the right people for the work that we're doing. I could tell you in my work at Silverado Senior Living before we moved up to Oregon, these were all big areas that we focused on. It's very difficult to hire well. In fact, the best people in the world probably hit about 75 or 80% accuracy, which sounds pretty good, but it also means that 2 out of 10 times they make a mistake in the hiring process. One of the things that can really help with this is the area of emotional intelligence. There's a video clip about emotional intelligence in this week's materials, and I think it gives a good overview of what it is and how we demonstrate it in ourselves and how we assess it in others. Emotional intelligence is ultimately about getting feedback from others, honest feedback from others, letting us know how they experience us in a workplace. The other materials relate to communications in the workplace as well. I've included a handout of common hiring mistakes and errors, and I imagine you'll relate to many of those errors. We all want to believe that we have special insight into others and that we really can tell who's going to work well and who's not going to work well. It's not supported by research that people have intuition to make those calls. It is supported more by finding unique ways to really assess whether somebody's a right fit for a culture and being sensitive to what's going on in a workplace culture so that we can get the most out of people. And that's ultimately what all this is about, is getting the most out of people. When we work with older adults, particularly in senior housing environments, it's so important that we have people that are sensitive to needs of the families and the residents, as well as each other. All of this becomes even more important when we realize that one of the best predictors of family satisfaction, and indeed one of the best predictors of how people make decisions about whether they would want a loved one to live in a particular setting, is what they observe relative to how employees treat each other. And the thought is simply, for family members, they wonder what's going to go on when they're not there. So how employees treat each other impacts not only customer decisions, not only the employee environment, but ultimately business success. So enjoy the materials this week and our 7th week, and we'll talk to you again next week.